My beloved child, before you continue to carry within your soul weights that I have never placed upon you, allow my voice to reach a place deeper than your thoughts. I know what no one sees. I know the tiredness you hide, the worries you keep silent, and the questions you often ask when you're alone. You look at your life and maybe you think you're just going through a rough patch, just facing one more problem, just trying to keep going. But I tell you, there is something going on beyond what your eyes can see. You think you are standing still, but I tell you, I am already working on areas of your life that you have not yet noticed. While you look at that which is lacking, I am taking care of that which needs to be strengthened within you. While you observe the doors that have not opened, I am protecting paths that could hurt your soul. While you try to understand the reason for some waiting, I am preparing deeper roots so that you will stand firm when the growing season comes. My son, I know there are times when you wonder if I'm really listening to your prayers. I know there are days when the delay seems longer than your hope. But I want you to remember something. The silence of your eyes has never meant the absence of my presence. Often what you call backwardness is the place where I am forming your maturity. That which you call loss is the place where I am preserving your identity. That which you call the end is only a part of the story that I am still writing. You think that some situations have taken something away from you, but I tell you, some situations have revealed something within you that needed to be awakened. I'm already healing wounds that you've learned to hide. I'm already strengthening parts of your soul that have grown tired. I am already shining a light on places within your heart where confusion once existed. There's a reason why you've come to this message today. There is something that your soul needs to remember. Before this word ends, I want to show you that many things that seemed meaningless carried a purpose that you had not yet understood. Don't just look at what happened. Look at what I am doing through what has happened. Because I have not lost control of your story, I am still present. I continue to work. And what today seems like a difficult walk may be exactly the path where I am revealing a new part of who you were born to be. My son, remain with me at this moment, because I want to reveal what many cannot perceive. What happens in the invisible when a person decides to trust in my direction. I will show you why some doors closed, some waits took place, and how I was taking care of your soul every step of the way. You will see that what seemed to be abandonment was protection, and that I have never ceased to act in your history. If this word has already found your heart, write Amen as a statement of faith and gratitude to me. Share this message with those who need to hear my voice and strengthen your walk with me. Like this message and subscribe to continue receiving words that edify your soul. Do not go now in the last minutes of this message. I have something special to reveal to you, and your soul needs to be prepared to understand what I am already doing in the unseen today. My son, there is something profound that you need to understand. Often the greatest danger is not in a big fall, but in small moments where you fail to perceive my direction. You think that disobeying only means doing something contrary to what I have said, but I tell you, often disobedience begins when you simply ignore what I am trying to show your heart. I'm not just talking to you through big events. I also speak through that restlessness you feel when you know you need to change something. I speak through the peace that disappears when you insist on a path that I have not prepared for you. I speak through that little correction that seems simple but carries protection for your life. You think small choices have no consequences, but I tell you, small seeds also carry big trees. A seemingly simple decision can feed a root of wisdom or a root of distancing. That is why I take care of you in the details. When I ask you to wait, I am not trying to prevent your happiness. I am protecting your soul from receiving something before its time. When I take something out of your hands, it is not because I want to leave you empty. Many times I'm making room for you not to continue carrying that which was stifling your growth. You think some closed doors were rejection, but I tell you some closed doors were deliverance. You think you missed an opportunity, but I tell you I was preserving your way. Look at Joseph again, my son. He could have allowed the prison to change his essence. He could have let injustice turn his heart to bitterness. He could have believed that this place was the end of his story. But I was there. in the cell where no one saw hope. I was forming a man capable of carrying a great responsibility. Before the palace, there was the process. Before honor, there was fidelity. Before the revelation, there was silence. You think you must first see change in order to continue trusting, but I tell you, true faith is born when you stand firm, even when you still can't see. There is a battle for your perception, because when you lose the ability to recognize my voice, any other voice feels like direction. Fear begins to look like prudence. Anxiety begins to feel like urgency. Doubt begins to look like wisdom. But I am touching your consciousness at this time. I'm bringing light to places where there was confusion before. I am showing that not every desire needs to be followed, and not every opportunity needs to be accepted. My child, do not ignore that which I am revealing within you. Do not allow haste to rob your soul of sensitivity. Do not allow the noise of the world to make you forget the sound of my voice. I continue to guide your steps. I continue to work on the details. I continue to lead you down the path that protects your identity and strengthens your faith. My son, if this word has touched your heart, write Amen in the comments. Because this act of faith I hear. My son, I know how many times you have looked at a closed door and felt that something had been taken away from you. I know how many times you've silently asked why what seemed so right didn't happen. Her heart tried to find answers, but her eyes could only see the absence. But I tell you, that which you called backwardness was often my hand holding you. You think you have wasted time, but I was preparing the ground. You think you have stood still, but I was working on the roots of your soul. You think nothing was happening, but I was strengthening parts of you that needed to be steadfast before you could receive what you so desired. My son, a seed buried in the ground may seem forgotten. It is hidden, away from the eyes in a place where no one notices movement, but it is precisely in that secret place that life begins to be born, so it is with you. There are periods when I allow you to stay in places that seem uncomfortable because I am developing something deeper. I'm creating maturity where there was a rush before. I'm building trust where there was fear before. I am creating dependence on myself, where before there was a need to control everything. You think the closed door was a loss, but I tell you, some doors that didn't open prevented pain that you couldn't yet see. You think that that person who left your life took a part of your story. But I tell you, some goodbyes were necessary for your soul to breathe again. You think that interrupted dream meant failure, but I tell you, some dreams need to pass through my hands before they are born at the right time. Look at Israel in the wilderness. They wanted the shortest way, but I knew the safest way. They wanted to get to the promise quickly, but I needed to prepare their hearts to live out what they would receive. Because a big promise in the hands of an unprepared heart can become a burden. My son, I am not only preparing that which is before you, I am preparing you for that which is before you. The light of dawn does not appear all at once. First there is a small light breaking through the darkness. Then the sky begins to change. And when many still think that the night continues, the day has already begun to rise. So is my action. You may not realize all that I am already doing, but my hand keeps working. I'm transforming the way you see it. I'm curing your anxiety. I am teaching your soul to trust again. Do not despise the ways that I have allowed. Don't abandon the process because it looks different than you imagine. The wilderness was not the end of Israel. It was the place where I prepared a new identity, and what you call delay, I call preparation. My son, write Lord, I believe. And by liking this video, you take this word to another child who also needs to hear that he is not alone. My son, you often believe that freedom is doing everything you want, following all the feelings that arise within you and always choosing the path that seems most pleasing in your eyes. But I tell you, not everything that seems like freedom leads your soul to true peace. There are paths that offer immediate pleasure, but hide future wounds. There are choices that seem small but carry seeds that can grow inside your heart. You think you are only following your heart, but I tell you, your heart needs to be guided by my presence. Because feelings change like the wind. Today, something feels right. Tomorrow may bring regret. Today, a choice seems to bring relief. Tomorrow, it may reveal a weight you didn't expect to carry. That is why I do not want you to just follow what you feel. I want you to learn to recognize that which comes from me. My son, when I correct you, it is not because I wish to limit your life. It is because I know ways that your eyes cannot yet see. A father who loves his child does not allow him to walk into danger just because he wants to go that way. True love also protects. True love also corrects. You think that my direction takes something away from you, but I tell you, my direction preserves what is most precious within you. Look at Samson. I put a strength in him that no one had. I had set aside his life for a purpose. But little by little, he began to trust the desire of the moment more than the responsibility he carried. The trouble didn't start when his strength disappeared. The problem began when his spiritual sensitivity began to fade. He continued to believe that he could act as before, but he didn't realize that he was moving away from the source of his strength. My son, there is a great danger in relying only on what you have already achieved. Your talents, your experiences, and your abilities are gifts that I have allowed you to receive, but they have never been greater than the need to remain close to me. You think you can walk alone because you won some battles, but I tell you, the greatest victory is to stay connected to my voice. A tree may look strong on the outside, but if its roots stop receiving food, it begins to lose life on the inside. So it is with the soul. On the outside, a person can appear firm. You can smile. You can continue your routine. But inside, it may be slowly drifting away from the source that sustains your life. My son, I am already touching areas within you where you try to keep control. I'm already showing what needs to be delivered. I'm already shining a light on places where you've become accustomed to walking alone. Do not be afraid to open your hands before me. That which I ask you to surrender will never be greater than that which I wish to restore in you. True freedom begins when your soul ceases to fight against my will and learns to rest at my direction. My son, if you wish to walk guided by my voice, write in the comments, Lord, guide my steps. My son, I know the desires that exist within your heart. I know the promises you have prayed for, the dreams you have placed before me, and the areas where you hope to see a transformation. But I tell you, before I put something new in your hands, I work on what needs to be strengthened within you. You think that the greatest change that needs to happen is all around you, but I tell you, the deepest change begins within your soul. Because a big promise needs a prepared heart. A blessing received without maturity can turn into a burden. An open door without wisdom can become a distraction. Therefore, in many moments, while you think that I am holding something from you, I am preparing you to receive with balance what is before your eyes. You think you are behind, but I tell you, I am building foundations that no one can see. Look at David. Before he wore the crown, he learned how to tend sheep. Before he was recognized by a nation, he learned to trust me in the silent field. Before facing giants before men, he won battles within his own soul. The camp seemed small, but it was a school. The solitude seemed abandoned, but it was a place of formation. The silence seemed to be oblivion, but it was the environment where I strengthened his identity. My son, many times you desire the palace, but you do not realize the value of the field where I am working your roots. You look at people who have reached places you want to reach and think you're falling behind. But I tell you, you don't know their process and they don't know yours. I don't compare stories. I don't build lives in series. Each child has a path where I deal with specific areas, where I teach unique truths, and where I reveal parts of identity that were hidden. You think you need to prove your worth in order to be accepted, but I tell you, your worth was never born out of what you achieve. Your worth was born from what I declared about you. Before anyone recognized David, I already knew him. Before anyone saw your ability, I had already seen your heart. And before the world realized who you are, I had already written purpose within you. My son, I am already healing memories that have made you doubt yourself. I'm already touching wounds that made you believe it wasn't enough. I am already removing thoughts that have tried to replace the truth that I have placed within your soul. Don't let old pains define a new season. Don't let past rejections determine your outlook on your future. I am restoring your identity because that which I prepare for you needs to find a strengthened heart. Do not go now, my child. What follows has been kept especially for you, and it may be what will change what you believe about your future. My son, I know that silence is one of the places where your faith is most tested. There are times when you look up to the sky expecting a clear answer, waiting for an immediate sign, waiting for me to speak in the way you imagine. But I tell you, the silence you feel is not the emptiness you believe it to be. You think I am far away, but I tell you, I am closer than you can realize. Just as a seed remains hidden beneath the ground before it breaks through the ground, there are times when my work is happening in depth before it appears before your eye. The seed does not see its own transformation. She doesn't understand the process she's going through. But within it, there is life being formed. So it is with you. You think nothing is happening because you don't see changes, but I tell you, I am already working in places that your natural eyes can't reach. I am strengthening your faith. I'm maturing your confidence. I am teaching your soul to depend less on immediate answers and more on my constant presence. My son, you often ask me to explain every detail of the path, but I wish to reveal something deeper. Before explaining all the paths, I want you to know who I am. Because when you know my presence, silence ceases to be frightening. When you know that I am with you, waiting ceases to feel like abandonment. When you recognize my hand, even the difficult moments begin to reveal purpose. Job lost that which seemed to sustain his life. He lost resources, lost security, lost close people, and went through a pain that he could not understand. But in the midst of it all, he found something greater than an answer. He found a revelation from me. He said, "With my ears I had heard of you, but now my eyes see you. My son, there are parts of me that you only know when you stay close during the storm. You may know about my strength when you see miracles, but you know my faithfulness when you continue to trust, even though you don't see it. You can know my provision when you receive something in your hands, but you know my love when you remain safe even while you wait. Do not confuse silence with forgetfulness. I was with Joseph when the prison walls seemed to be the limit of his story. I was with Daniel when he entered the lion's den. I was with Moses when he walked through the wilderness without knowing all the details of the path. And I am with you just in that place where you think you are alone. My son, I am already touching the areas of your heart that have been tired by waiting. I am already bringing light to thoughts that have been stuck in doubt. I am already strengthening that which seemed weak within you. Don't run away from silence. Sometimes it is there that your soul learns to listen to what the noise of the world has tried to hide. State in the comments, "I get that word," and by leaving your like, you help to take this message to another heart. My son, there is a silent battle going on inside your mind. Every day, voices try to plant seeds within your heart. Some say you're not enough. Some remember mistakes that I have already forgiven. Some would have you believe that your story is defined by the losses you faced. But I tell you, none of these voices has more authority than what I have declared about you. You think that is what they have done to you. But I tell you, you are that which I have formed within you. You think that your wounds define your identity, but I tell you, your wounds are part of your history. But they are not the name I wrote about your life. My son, before Jesus performed any miracles, before he was recognized by the multitudes, before he touched lives and revealed the kingdom, I declared of him, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." Identity came before realization. Love came before conquest. Acceptance came before the mission, and I want you to understand this deeply. You don't have to do something extraordinary to deserve my love. You do not need to prove your worth before me. You don't have to carry weights trying to convince the world that you matter. I already know your heart. I already know your struggles. I already know your hidden tears. You think you need to be seen by men to be of value, but I tell you, before anyone recognized your name, I already knew your essence. Many wrong choices begin when a person tries to fill a void with what they were never able to fill. He accepts paths that hurt his peace because he wants approval. She allows situations that hurt her soul because she wants to be accepted. But I am restoring your perception. I am showing that when your identity is grounded in me, you need not accept any open door. You don't have to chase any praise. You don't have to trade your peace for empty promises. A tree with deep roots does not fall easily when the wind blows. So it is with your soul. When you know who you are in me, storms can touch your life, but they cannot destroy your essence. My son, I'm already touching thoughts which have made you feel small. I'm already bringing light to memories that tried to erase your confidence. I am already healing places within you where human words have left deep imprints. Do not allow a voice created by pain to be stronger than the voice of the Father who created you. Protect that which I have placed within your heart. Because what you believe about who you are influences the paths you accept to take. You weren't created to live lost trying, to find value in the wrong places. You were created to walk knowing that you belong to me. By liking this video and subscribing to this channel, you become an instrument in my hands, helping this word reach those who need to hear the most, who have not been forgotten. My son, I know the battles that you have tried to win alone. I know the times when you held worries in your hands as if everything depended on your ability. I've seen when you tried to find solutions using only your own strength, when you've tried to control situations that were beyond your reach, and when you've carried weights that were never meant for you to carry. But I tell you, there are battles that are not won by the strength of your hands, but by the trust of your heart. You think you need to fight more, but I tell you, many times you just need to obey more. You think the answer lies in doing more, running more, and trying your way again, but I tell you, the answer often lies in stopping, listening, and following the direction I have already set before you. My son, obedience seems small to human eyes, but in the spiritual world it opens paths that your own strength could never open. Look at Jehoshaphat. He was facing an army larger than what he could face. To natural eyes, defeat seemed certain. There was not enough human strategy. There was no military force capable of guaranteeing victory, but I gave it a different direction. I didn't ask him to trust the size of his army. I asked him to trust in the size of my power. The word says in Chronicles 20:15, "Do not be afraid or dismayed because of this great crowd, for the battle is not yours but God's." My son, when you understand this, something changes within your soul. You stop fighting trying to prove that you can do it on your own, and you start walking, knowing that my hand sustains your steps. You think that obeying means losing your freedom, but I tell you, obedience is the way where your soul finds protection. A child who holds his father's hand on a dangerous road is not losing his freedom. She is receiving security. So it is when you hold my direction. I don't take away paths from you to hinder your happiness. I take paths to prevent your soul from being wounded by what your eyes cannot yet perceive. My son, there are simple instructions that you have ignored. There are small callings within your consciousness that you have been putting off for later. There are changes that you know you need to make, but you keep putting off because they seem too small. But I tell you, big trees start with small seeds. Big wins start with small acts of trust. A simple decision to forgive. A simple choice to wait. A simple attitude of abandoning that which distances you from me. Don't despise the small movements of obedience. It is through them that I am aligning your life with what I am already doing in the unseen. I'm already working in your heart. I'm already strengthening your faith. I am already teaching you to trust my voice more than the fear that tries to dominate your thoughts. My son, there is someone in your heart now. Write that person's name in the comments. I hear every name you declare. My son, perhaps you have not realized, but all this walking has taken you to a deeper place. The place where your soul learns again to hear my voice. Because often, the biggest problem is not that I have failed to speak. The biggest problem is that the human heart gets so used to the noises around it that it begins to have difficulty recognizing the voice that has always been calling. You think you need a new answer, but I tell you, you often need to realize the direction I have already set before you. You think I'm far away, but I tell you, I'm speaking in the details, in the quiet moments, in the small corrections, and in that peace that comes when you choose the right path. My son, a seed does not grow because it makes noise. It grows because it remains connected to the source of life. So it is with your soul. You don't have to run desperately after signs. You must learn to stay close to me, to recognize when I am leading your steps. Samuel was just a child when he heard my voice. He was close to my presence, but he still did not fully understand who he was calling. It was necessary to learn to recognize the voice that was already speaking. The word says in 1 Samuel 3:10, "Speak, Lord, for your servant hears." My son, this needs to be the disposition of your heart. Not only ask me to speak what you wish to hear, but be willing to listen to what I need to reveal. Because sometimes you ask for an answer, but I am bringing about a transformation. You ask for an open door, but I am strengthening your steps. You ask for a change around, but I am working first within you. You think that silence means that nothing is happening, but I tell you, while your eyes do not perceive, I am preparing your spiritual perception. I am teaching you to recognize what previously went unnoticed. I am bringing sensitivity to your consciousness. I'm showing that not every voice that reaches your heart deserves to be followed. There are voices that feed fear. There are voices that feed anxiety. There are voices that make you forget who I said you are. But my voice brings direction, even when it corrects. My voice brings peace, even when it calls you to a change. My voice brings life, even when it asks you to leave something behind. My child, do not allow haste to make you ignore that which I am revealing. Do not allow too much worry to rob you of your ability to perceive my presence. I'm already touching areas within you that have gone dormant. I am already awakening a new spiritual sensitivity. I am already illuminating paths that once seemed confusing. The great change you expect begins when your soul learns to listen again. Because when you hear my voice, you don't walk lost. When you recognize my direction, you need not be guided by fear. When you stay with me, even the hard paths find purpose. Do not stop now, my child. What comes in the next few minutes may be the answer you've been seeking for so long, and I've saved it for this very moment. My son, I know that waiting is not always easy. I know there are days when you look back at your walk and wonder why you haven't gotten where you thought you were yet. You watch time pass, you see other people moving forward, and you start to feel like you've been left behind. But I tell you, you're not late. You think you have wasted time, but I tell you, I was preparing the ground. You think that nothing has happened in these days, but I tell you, many of the greatest transformations take place away from the eyes of those who observe only the surface. A root growing doesn't make noise. A seed breaking its shell happens in hiding. A tree strengthening its structure happens before its fruits are seen. So also is the work that I am doing in you. You want to see results, but I am strengthening foundations. You want to show fruit, but I am taking care of the roots. Because I know that a life without depth cannot stand firm when the winds come. My son, some people quickly receive what they want, but they do not have the structure to support what they have received. That is why I work first on the inside. I treat your insecurities before I put new responsibilities on you. I heal your wounds before allowing you to carry new challenges. I strengthen your identity before I put you in places where many will look up to you, because the greatest danger is not receiving a blessing. The greatest danger is to receive something great with a soul that has not yet been prepared to stand firm. Look at Joseph. He received a dream, but before the fulfillment, he went through the process. He knew rejection before recognition. He knew prison before the government. He knew silence before he was heard. But each stage was forming something inside him. The prison was not just a prison. It was a preparation room. Moses' wilderness was not just an empty place. It was a place where I was forming a liberator. My son, maybe you're looking at where you are and thinking, why am I still here? But I tell you, because there is something in you that needs to take deeper roots. I'm not just preparing a place for you to get to. I'm preparing you to stay when you arrive. You think that waiting is stealing your life, but I tell you, waiting is revealing its strength. You think that silence is hiding your purpose, but I tell you, silence is strengthening your confidence. You think no one notices your process, but I tell you, I see every tear, every prayer, and every moment you choose to continue. My word says in Psalm 1:3, "For he will be like a tree planted by rivers of water, which yields its fruit in its season, its leaves will not fall, and everything he does will prosper." My son, there is a right time for the fruit to appear. Don't try to pluck a seed out of the ground to find out if it's growing. Trust the process that I have established, because that which you cannot see is still being formed by my hands. My child, I know that there are times when you look around looking for a great answer, a great sign, or a visible change that confirms that I am acting. You expect something extraordinary, something that makes you sure that the path is changing. But I tell you, many times what transforms a life begins in silence. You think I am far away because you do not see great movements, but I tell you, I am working on the details that your eyes cannot yet perceive. I'm touching thoughts that were once dominated by fear. I'm strengthening emotions that were previously controlled by anxiety. I am bringing peace to places within you that have long been filled with worry. My son, you seek a change in the scenery, but I begin my work in the heart. Because before changing what is outside, I transform what is inside. You think you must first see an open door to believe, but I tell you, often faith is born when you perceive small seeds of transformation arising within you. A word that once hurt and now no longer controls his soul. A situation that used to take away your peace, and now you can deliver it into my hands. A memory that once held his heart and is now starting to lose strength. These are also answers. These are also signs of my presence. My son, the dawn does not appear all at once. The night begins to lose its strength little by little. First there is a small light on the horizon. Then the sky begins to change color. And when many still think that darkness remains, the morning has already begun to rise. This is my action in your life. You think that nothing has changed because there are still challenges, but I tell you, you are no longer the same person who started this journey. I am already forming a new perception within you. I am already teaching your soul to see beyond circumstances. I am already showing that my presence does not depend on big events to be real. Paul wrote in Philippians 1:6, "Being certain of this very thing, that he who began a good work in you will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ." My son, I do not abandon that which I begin. I don't plant a seed and forget about it underground. I follow each root growing. I follow every little advance. I follow every moment you choose to trust, even without understanding everything. Don't despise small beginnings. David cared for a few sheep before he cared for a nation. To human eyes, it seemed like a simple task. But to me, that hidden place was where I was forming a prepared heart. You think you're in an unimportant place, but I tell you, secret places carry great preparations. A small decision to obey can change the course of a story. A small attitude of faith can make room for a great transformation. My son, watch with spiritual eyes. Not everything that seems small is insignificant. Some of the greatest works that I do begin where no one is looking. That word didn't come to you by chance. Write in the comments, "I trust God," and let that be your act of faith for me today. My son, I know that some closed doors have left marks within you. I know you looked at what didn't happen and felt as if a part of your hope had been taken away. You asked why I didn't allow that relationship, that opportunity, that change, or that path that felt so right in your eyes. But I tell you, not every closed door is a loss. Some closed doors are answers that you have not yet been able to understand. You think I have denied something good, but I tell you, I was protecting something precious within you. You think that I interrupted your plans, but I tell you, I was preventing your plans from hurting that which I was building in your soul. My son, you see the present moment, but I see the whole way. You see a scene, but I know the whole story. You see a beautiful door, but I see what is beyond it. There are paths that shine on the outside, but hide dangers that only a greater vision can perceive. Lot looked out over the plains of the Jordan and saw a well-watered land, a seemingly perfect opportunity. His eyes were drawn to the appearance of that place, but he couldn't see everything that choice carried. My son, not everything that seems like a blessing in your eyes is what your soul needs. Sometimes that which you desire so intensely may be distracting you from what I am carefully preparing. You think that receiving quickly is always better, but I tell you some things need to wait because your structure is still being strengthened. A child may desire something that seems wonderful, but a parent who knows the danger holds his hand and blocks the path. It's not a lack of love, it's careful. So I do with you. When I close a door, I am not ignoring your prayers. I'm considering what you don't know yet. I know conversations you've never heard. I know intentions that you never realized. I know consequences that your eyes could never reach. My son, give me what you have lost. Also, deliver what you don't understand. Because often, the greatest pain is not in the door that is closed, but in the difficulty of accepting that my vision is greater than yours. The seed does not understand when it is placed underground. For her, that moment feels like an end. It looks like darkness. It feels like separation from light. But it is precisely in that hidden place that the transformation begins. What you have called burial, I call birth. What you called backwardness, I call protection. What you have called loss, I call preparation. My son, I continue to take care of your story, even when you don't understand each chapter. I continue to guide your steps even when the path seems different than you imagine. My son, if you are here, it is because I have allowed it. I have something to reveal to you later today. Don't leave before you've heard what's next. My son, I know the marks you carry in silence. I know those pains that you can't explain to anyone. I know the moments when you smile in front of people, but inside your heart, there is still a part waiting for healing. You think you need to hide your wounds in order to be strong, but I tell you, it is precisely in the places where you have been wounded that my restoration begins to touch most deeply. You think that what has happened to you has diminished your value, but I tell you, no human rejection can erase what I have placed within you. The words that have been spoken against you have no more authority than my voice. The doors that have closed on you do not define your destiny. The moments when you have felt forgotten do not change the way I view your life. My son, look at Joseph. His own brothers looked at him and decided his worth based on envy and misunderstanding. They sold him, took away his freedom, and had him taken to a place where he didn't want to be. But they could not see what I saw. They saw a young man being taken as a slave. I saw someone being prepared to save lives. They saw a prison. I saw a way. They saw a loss. I saw a purpose being formed. My son, what people have done to you has no power to cancel what I have prepared within you. Man may try to put labels on his life, but only I know his true identity. The word says in Isaiah 43:1, "Do not be afraid, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine." Before anyone recognized their worth, I already knew their essence. Before anyone saw your capabilities, I had already placed seeds within your soul. Before anyone believed in your future, I already knew the purpose that was being formed in you. You think you are defined by your past, but I tell you, your past is only a part of your story, not the conclusion of it. You think your scars show that you have lost. But I tell you, some scars are reminders of battles you have won by my grace. The tree during the winter seems lifeless to those who look only at the branches. But underground, the roots are still alive. There is movement where the eyes cannot perceive. So it is with you. Even when it seems that nothing is growing, I continue to sustain your life. Even when you don't feel strength, I keep strengthening your soul. Even when you don't see change, I go on, working in places deep within you. Your tears are not invisible to me. Your difficult nights are not unknown to me. Your silent prayers have reached me. My son, I am already restoring parts of your heart which you thought would never be healed. I am already bringing light to memories that once held your soul. I am already showing that your identity was not born from the wounds, but from the love that I placed on you. I've been good at your life in ways you haven't even noticed. Write in the comments, Amen, and proclaim with me my goodness over you. My son, I know the weights that you have been carrying in silence. I know the worries you hold inside your heart. The nights when your mind keeps searching for answers, and the times when you try to find a solution to everything before the path is even revealed. You think that controlling everything will bring security, but I tell you, too often too much control only reveals a tired soul trying to carry that which belongs to me. You try to predict every step. You try to avoid every difficulty. You try to protect every result. But I ask you, how long will you carry alone that which I am already ready to sustain? My son, there is a difference between taking care of your walk and trying to occupy the place that belongs to me. I gave you responsibility, but I never gave you the weight of controlling everything. You think you need to have all the answers before you trust, but I tell you, some answers only appear when you take the next step toward me. Faith doesn't grow when you understand everything. Faith grows when you trust, even without seeing all the details. Look at Abraham. I called him to leave his land and walk to a place he did not yet fully know. He did not receive a map with all the paths drawn. He received a direction and a promise. Hebrews 11:8 says, by faith Abraham, being called, obeyed, going to a place which he was to receive as an inheritance, and he went out, not knowing where he was going. My son, Abraham did not walk because he had all the answers. He walked because he trusted the one who was guiding his steps. And I want to teach it again to your heart. You think you need to know tomorrow in order to have peace today, but I tell you, my presence today is enough to lead you into tomorrow. You think you need to hold everything in your hands, but I tell you, when your hands are busy trying to control everything, they can't receive that which I want to deliver. A seed does not grow because it fights against the land where it was planted. It grows because it allows the process to happen. She doesn't try to open her own paths. It does not try to accelerate its own roots. It simply remains connected to the source of life. My son, abide in me. Surrender that which has stolen your peace. Deliver the questions that still don't have answers. Surrender the situations you can't solve. I'm already working in places where your strength doesn't reach. I'm already moving details that you still don't notice. I'm already paving the way, while you learn to rest. Don't confuse surrender with giving up. Surrendering does not mean abandoning your dreams. Surrendering means putting your dreams in the hands of the one who knows the right time, the right path, and the complete purpose. My son, I am not taking control of your life to leave you lost. I'm taking the weight off your shoulders so you can walk more lightly. This message is not for everyone, my son. If you are here, it is because I have chosen you to hear what comes next. Are you ready? My son, I know there are times when the path seems too quiet. There are days when you look around looking for someone who understands your battle, someone who realizes the weight you carry, and someone who sees the struggles that happen inside your heart. But I tell you, you have never walked alone. You think you are facing everything with your own strength, but I tell you, there's an invisible presence sustaining your every step. You think you have come this far only because you have been strong, but I tell you, it is my grace that has renewed your strength when you thought you could not continue. It was my hands that sustained you in the days when your own courage seemed small. It was my presence that brought peace in moments where no human explanation could ease his soul. My son, there are battles that no one sees. There are tears that no one notices. There are thoughts that you face in silence. But I know every detail. I know the struggle before you can even put it into words. I know the weight before you even ask for help. When Elijah believed he was alone, he looked at his situation and thought he was the last one standing. He looked at the circumstances and believed that there was no one else by his side. But I showed him that his vision was limited. There were people he didn't know. There was a purpose that he did not yet see. There was a work going on beyond what his eyes could see. My son, you often do the same thing. You look only at what is in front of you and conclude that there is no way out. You look at the difficulty and think that it is greater than my presence. You look at the weight and think it's a sign of abandonment. But I tell you, my presence does not depend on circumstances to be with you. I don't need big signs to prove that I'm close. I don't need extraordinary events to take care of your life. Many times I am present in that silent force which makes you rise once again. I am present in that peace that comes without explanation. I am present in that small hope that is still alive, even after so many difficulties. My son, a tree remains standing, not only because of what appears above the earth, but because of the hidden roots that support it. So is your life with me. There are spiritual roots being strengthened in places that no one can see. You think you are just surviving, but I tell you I'm sustaining your walk. Every morning you receive is a demonstration that your story is still being written. Every breath is a reminder that I keep working. Each new day carries an opportunity to perceive my presence in a deeper way. Don't ignore what your eyes can't see. The invisible is also real, and it is often in the invisible that I perform the greatest works within your soul. My son, I know the memories that still try to hold your soul. I know those moments in the past that you would like to erase, those choices that still weigh inside your heart, and those situations that you relive in your mind wondering if you could have done differently. But I tell you, your past is no greater than my mercy. You think that what happened defined who you are, but I tell you, that was only a part of your walk, not the identity that I placed upon you. You think your mistakes have raised a wall between you and me, but I tell you, my grace goes through places where your guilt has tried to build barriers. My son, many people carry chains that I have never put on them. They carry condemnations that I have never declared. They continue to punish themselves for things that I am already treating with love and restoration. You think you need to pay to receive forgiveness, but I tell you, my love is not bought by your perfection. He is received by his surrender. I do not ignore your mistakes. I don't hide your flaws. I know every fall, every bad decision, and every moment you strayed from the path. But I also know true repentance. I know the heart that wants to return. I know the soul that still seeks my presence. Look at Peter, my son. He walked alongside Jesus, saw miracles, heard teachings, and yet there came a time when he denied knowing the one he loved. Guilt could have destroyed Peter. Shame could have made him hide. He could have believed that his story was over in that moment of weakness. But I didn't just see the fall. I saw the restoration. I didn't just see the error. I saw the purpose. After all, Peter declared, Lord, you know all things. You know I love you. My son, I have always known his heart, and I also know yours. You think that I only look at that which has gone wrong, but I tell you I see that which I am still forming within you. The enemy wants you to look back and stay trapped. I wish you would look forward and walk restored. The past may explain some wounds, but it does not have the authority to write the last chapter of your life. I transform broken stories. I restore tired hearts. I give birth to hope where you thought there were only ashes. Just as a tree that seems lost after a great storm can still produce new shoots, your life can also flourish again. You think you have lost too many years, but I tell you, there are still seeds within you. You think your failures have erased your purpose, but I tell you, my restoration is greater than your falls. I am already touching areas of your soul that have been marked by the past. I am already bringing light to places where guilt has tried to hide its hope. Do not allow an old version of you to hinder that which I am forming today. There are so many other children of mine who need to hear this now. By liking this video and subscribing to this channel, you become part of the chain that I use to bring my word to those who are on edge. My son, I know every prayer that has come out of your lips. I know those words that you managed to say and also those that stuck inside your heart, because the pain was too great to explain. No tear shed before me has gone unnoticed. No sincere request was ignored. Not a moment when you sought my presence was lost. You think that the sky has remained closed because you have not yet seen the answer, but I tell you, there is movement even when your eyes do not perceive it. You think silence means that I am not listening, but I tell you often silence is the place where I am working deeply. A seed under the ground seems immobile, but inside it there is a transformation taking place. She can't see her own roots growing, but life is being formed in the hidden place, so it is with your prayers. You do not see all the paths that I am preparing. You don't know all the details that I am lining up. You don't realize all the things that need to happen before what you expect comes to the right time. My son, Daniel, prayed and waited. He sought my guidance and remained faithful, even when the answer did not immediately reach his eyes. During that period of waiting, he might have thought that his prayer had not been heard. He might have believed that silence meant abandonment. But I had already received his words from the first moment. My word says in Daniel 10:12, "Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understanding and humbling yourself before your God, your words have been heard." My son, understand this deeply. The delay in responding has never meant the absence of my attention. You measure time by your anxiety. I see time for my purpose. You look at the clock. I see the preparation. You look at the weight. I see everything that is being aligned. Many times you ask for a change in a situation, but I am first strengthening your soul to go through it in faith. You ask me to withdraw a battle, but I am forming within you a force that will remain after it. You ask for a quick answer, but I'm building a trust that doesn't just depend on answers. My child, do not allow the lack of evidence to make you forget my faithfulness. The farmer does not abandon the seed because he does not yet see the fruit. He continues to take care of the earth because he knows that there is life happening beneath the surface. So too, I take care of your history. I keep working while you wait. I keep driving while you don't understand. I remain present as you learn to trust. Waiting is not rejection. Silence is not absence. The process is not abandonment. I am already acting in invisible places, preparing paths that your eyes cannot yet reach. My son, I know there are nights in your life which seem too long. There are times when you look around and feel that the difficulty will not pass, that the pain will not subside, and that the situation you face seems greater than your ability to bear. But I tell you, no night can stop the dawn that I am forming. You think the darkness will last forever, but I tell you, the light has already begun to be born, even if your eyes cannot yet perceive it. Dawn does not appear all at once. First, there is a small change on the horizon. Then, a light begins to touch the sky. And when many still believe that night remains, the day is already coming. So it is with what I am doing in your life. You think that nothing has changed because there are still challenges, but I tell you there are changes happening within you that are greater than what is happening around you. I am strengthening your hope. I am renewing your vision. I am teaching your soul to stand firm even when circumstances have not yet changed. My child, do not allow a difficult season to make you forget who I am. The night may be long, but it will never be greater than my presence. Winter may seem lifeless, but the roots are still alive underground. The tree may seem stationary, but inside it there is preparation for a new season. So it is with you. You think you are standing still, but I tell you, I am preparing new paths within your soul. You think you have lost your strength, but I tell you, I am renewing what fatigue has tried to erase. You think your tears were signs of defeat, but I tell you, many tears have watered seeds that will still bloom. My son, the word says in Psalm 35, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning." This promise doesn't mean you'll never face rough nights. It means that no night has the authority to determine the ending of your story. I'm not just watching your walk, I am present in it. I'm in the room where you cry silently. I'm at the moment when you think about giving up. I'm in that little strength that arises inside you when you decide to continue another day. You think you are surviving alone, but I tell you, my hand is holding you up. You think that delay means forgetfulness, but I tell you, some waits are places where your faith takes deeper roots. The seed does not complain about the darkness of the earth because it knows that there is a hidden purpose in that place. And I want you to learn to see your own walk with spiritual eyes. Not every dark phase means you've lost your way. Sometimes it is precisely in the darkness that I prepare you to recognize the light. Keep trusting, keep listening to my voice, keep walking with me. Because what seems like a difficult night today will not be able to stop what I'm forming within you. If this video is providing answers you need to hear, write in the comments, "God cares for me," and prophesy this truth about your own life. My son, I know that many times your eyes look for evidence before your heart can rest. You want to see the door open, the full path, the answer coming, and then feel safe in trusting. But I tell you, true faith is not born only from what the eyes can see. You think that you must first receive and then believe. But I tell you, it is often trust that prepares your eyes to perceive what I am already doing. Your natural eyes see limitations. They see the size of the problem. They see the difficulty of the path. They see what is missing. But faith sees beyond. Faith looks at the small seed and believes in the tree that has not yet appeared. Faith looks at the night and recognizes that the dawn is being formed. Faith looks at a closed door and understands that my direction continues to exist even when the path is not yet clear. My son, you think that believing is easy when everything is resolved, but I tell you, true faith reveals itself precisely when you choose to trust while there are still questions. Thomas walked with Jesus, saw miracles, and heard words of life, but when he received the news of the resurrection, he had to touch to believe. He wanted evidence before he gave up his trust. But I taught something deeper. My word says in John 20:29, "Because you have seen me, Thomas, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." My son, I do not condemn your questions. I know your doubts and I know the battles that go on inside your mind. But I want to take you to a place where your confidence doesn't just depend on what happens around you. Because if your faith depends only on circumstances, any change can shake your heart. But when your faith is grounded in me, you remain even when the scene changes. You think you need to understand all the details in order to walk, but I tell you, some revelations come as long as you remain obedient. Abraham didn't see the whole way before he left. Joseph did not see the palace while he was in prison. Moses did not see the promised land as he crossed the wilderness. But they all learned to walk holding a promise greater than what their eyes could reach. My son, I am already working to strengthen your spiritual perception. I'm already showing that not everything needs to be explained to be trusted. I am already teaching your soul to rest in my presence. Do not allow the lack of an immediate response to rob you of the certainty of what I have already placed within you. The seed does not need to see the tree to start growing. It just remains connected to the source that gives life. So I want you to stay. Don't just walk by what your eyes show. Walk through the trust that is born when you know my voice. Because what I am doing in the invisible is greater than what your eyes can see now. What comes next may be the exact signal you asked for. I saved it for this moment. Stay with me. My son, I know there are times when you look at your life and you feel that you are in a dry land. You look at what once seemed full of hope and now seems to stand still. You look at your dreams, your prayers, and your plans, and you ask why I allowed you to come to this place. But I tell you, the desert you see is not the end of your story. You think you are in a place of abandonment, but I tell you I am strengthening your roots in the place where no one can see. You think that lack of fruit means lack of life. But I tell you, some of the greatest transformations happen before any fruit appears. My son, a tree doesn't just grow upwards. Before it can reach great heights, it needs to deepen its roots. It needs to find firmness underground. It needs to learn to stay when the winds come. So it is with you. You want to grow quickly, but I am building depth. You want to see immediate results, but I am forming a structure that will remain. Because that which grows without deep roots may impress for a moment, but it cannot remain when the storms come. My son, Maybe you're looking at a slow season and thinking you're wasting time. But I tell you, I am using this time to strengthen what will be needed for the next chapters of your journey. You think you are standing still, but I tell you I am working on the invisible. You think you are being forgotten, but I tell you, I am preparing you to carry that which could once destroy your peace. Look at David. Before the throne, there was the countryside. Before the crown, there was sheep care. Before facing a giant in front of everyone, there were silent battles where no one was looking. To human eyes, David was far from the promise. But in my eyes, he was in the very place where his identity would be strengthened. The field was not a delay. It was a preparation. Loneliness was not abandonment. It was training. Silence was not absent. It was training. My son, do not despise the places where no one applauds you. Don't overlook periods where it seems like nothing is happening. It is often in these hidden places that I treat the deepest areas of your soul. It is where I teach you to depend less on the approval of men and more on my presence. It is where I strengthen your confidence. It is where I take away old insecurities and build a firmer faith. My word says in Isaiah 41:18, I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of valleys. I will turn the wilderness into ponds of water and the dry land into springs of water. My son, I do not depend on the conditions around you to fulfill that which I am doing within you. I don't need a perfect setting to produce life. I don't need an easy path to form someone strong. When my hand touches a dry land, it begins to bloom. So don't just look at the soil around you. Look at the roots that I am strengthening within your soul. My son, I know there are parts of your story that still hurt when you remember. There are moments that left deep marks and situations that made you think that you would never be the same again. Maybe you looked at some areas of your life and believed they were lost forever. But I tell you, that which seems broken in your eyes is still in my hands. You think that pain has destroyed everything. But I tell you, pain has no authority to cancel that which I have placed within you. You think you have lost your identity because of what you have faced. But I tell you, your identity was not born of circumstances. It was born of my purpose. My son, I do not shy away from the broken parts of your life. I don't turn my face away from your weaknesses. I don't abandon you when you find places within you that need healing. On the contrary, it is precisely in these places that I begin a profound work. The potter does not throw away the clay when he finds imperfections. He works carefully again. It molds, adjusts, and transforms what seemed formless into something new. My word says in Jeremiah 18:6, as clay in the potter's hand, so are you in my hand. My son, you are in my hands, not in the hands of the past, not in the hands of your mistakes, not in the hands of the words they said against you. You are in the hands of the one who knows every detail of your existence. You think your story ended in that moment of pain, but I tell you, that was just a page, not the whole book. You think that loss took away your future, but I tell you, I continue to work in areas that you thought would never be restored. There is life where you only see ashes. There is hope where you only see memories. There is a new beginning where you believed there was only one end. My child, the restoration that I make begins from the inside out. Before changing external circumstances, I restore your sight. Before transforming that which is around you, I heal that which is within you. Because a restored soul can stand firm even when circumstances change. A person who knows their identity in me is not easily destroyed by the storms of life. You think you must first have everything sorted out in order to return to peace. But I tell you, true peace begins when you allow my presence to touch what no one else can reach. I am already entering places within you that have been hidden for too long. I am already bringing light to memories that still carry sadness. I'm already strengthening areas where you felt weak. I'm already showing that what you called the end can be the place where a new version of your journey begins. My son, do not be ashamed of the parts that need healing. Do not hide from me that which I already know. I don't see you just for what happened. I see who you are becoming by my hands. There is something in your heart that you have not yet given me completely. Write in the comments what you're uploading. It could be a word, a request, a name. My son, I know how many times you have tried to hide your tears. I know how many times you held back your tears so that no one would notice the battle that was going on inside you. Many times you believed that you needed to look strong all the time, as if showing pain was a sign of weakness. But I tell you, some tears are prayers that your soul shed when your words could no longer express what you felt. I saw every silent night. I've seen every moment you took a deep breath, trying to keep going. I saw every time you said it was okay, even when your heart was tired. You think your tears have fallen into emptiness, but I tell you, no tears before me have been ignored. David stated in Psalm 56:8, "Put my tears into your wineskin. Aren't they in your book? My son, that which the world does not perceive, I know. That which people do not value, I observe. That which seems small to human eyes often carries great transformations within the soul. You measure your walk by the results that appear. I observe the roots that were formed while no one was looking. You think you were just going through difficult days, but I tell you, I was forming something within you. The tears you shed produced dependence. The losses you faced produced maturity. The pains you went through produced a sensitivity that you did not have before. You think those moments only took away your strength, but I tell you, they also revealed a strength that you did not yet know. My son, a buried seed goes through a period where it seems to disappear. It is hidden, away from the light, covered by the earth. To those looking from the outside, it seems that nothing is happening. But within that seed, there is life, there is movement, there is transformation. So, it is with you. There were periods when you thought you were forgotten, but I was working deeply. There were times when you thought your story had stopped, but I was strengthening your roots. There were days when you asked why you needed to go through this, but I was using each experience to form a firmer, more mature version of you. My child, do not be ashamed of the process I have used to ripen your soul. Do not despise the tears that have caused you to seek my presence. Don't despise the nights that taught you to trust. Because some of the greatest transformations don't happen when everything is easy. They happen when you learn to stay, even when you don't understand all the details. I am already transforming what seemed to be just suffering into learning. I'm already using what seemed like just pain to deepen your faith. I am already showing that no difficult phase has been able to destroy that which I have placed within you. Continue to allow my hand to touch your story, because there are still fruits born from seeds that have been watered by the tears that you thought no one saw. My son, I know the effort you often make to prove your worth. I know the need to be recognized, to be remembered, to feel that your life matters. I see it when you look at what you have, what you've achieved, and what people say about you trying to find confirmation of who you are. But I tell you, your identity was never born out of the things you own. You think you have lost value because you have lost something. But I tell you, what has come out of your hands has never been what sustained your true identity. The world can change its circumstances. People can change their opinions. Achievements can come and they can also go. But that which I have declared about you remains. My son, before you had any title, any position, or any recognition, I already knew you. Before anyone knew his name, I had already seen his essence. Before you accomplished anything, you already possessed value before me. You think you need to conquer in order to be loved. But I tell you, you are loved even before conquests. You think you need to prove that you are important. But I tell you, your importance was not born from the approval of men. It was born from my gaze upon you. Look at Job. He had possessions, recognition, and a respected position before the people. But when all that was touched by circumstances, he discovered something deeper. What he possessed was not the source of his identity. He lost many external things, but something remained. Your trust in me, its essence, your faith. Job stated at Job 19:25, "For I know that my Redeemer lives and that he will stand at last upon the earth." My son, Job understood that his life was not tied to what he had, but to the relationship he had with me. And I want to teach it to your heart, because when your identity is grounded in external things, any change can shake your soul. But when your identity is grounded in me, storms can touch your circumstances without destroying who you are. You think that loss has diminished you, but I tell you, some losses have only revealed that you were greater than what you held in your hands. You think that a closed door has taken away your place, but I tell you, your place has never depended on a human opportunity. You think that a rejection has defined your worth, but I tell you, no rejection can erase what I have written about your life. My child, do not allow that which changes around you to change that which I have established within you. A tree does not cease to be a tree because it loses its leaves in a difficult season. It continues to have roots. It continues to possess life. She continues to carry within her the ability to blossom again. So are you. I'm already strengthening your vision. I'm already curing the need for approval. I'm already showing that your greatest security is not in what you can hold, but in who holds you. You were reached because you were chosen. Write in the comments, God has chosen me, and live that truth every day. My son, I know there are times when you look at the difficulties and ask why you had to go through that. There are situations that came unexpectedly, moments that challenged your faith, and circumstances that revealed feelings you didn't even know were inside you. But I tell you, not every test has come to destroy you. You think that the test has appeared to take away your strength. But I tell you, many times it reveals the strength that I have already placed within your soul. You think the storm has come to end your walk, but I tell you, it also reveals where your roots are grounded. My son, gold does not pass through fire because it has no value. It passes through fire precisely because it has value and needs to reveal its purity. So it is with you. I don't allow lawsuits to humiliate your heart. I don't allow challenges to make you feel abandoned. I allow difficult moments because there are areas within you that need to be strengthened, matured, and revealed. My word says in 1 Peter 1:7, that the trial of your faith, which is more precious than gold that perishes and is tried by fire, may be found in praise and honor and glory. My son, your faith does not only grow on easy days. Your trust in me is not only strengthened when everything goes as you expected. Often, it is in the midst of pressure that you discover a deeper dependency. It is in the midst of waiting that you learn to trust. It is in the midst of difficulty that you realize that my presence has always been greater than the problem. You think the process is revealing your weaknesses, but I tell you it is also revealing the transformation that is already happening within you. You think you are being broken, but I tell you, I am removing that which hindered your growth. You think you are losing control, but I tell you, I am teaching your soul to rest in my hands. My son, a tree that never faces wind can grow quickly, but its roots can remain fragile. When the winds come, it reveals if it is really firm. Therefore, some storms do not come to uproot you. They come to deepen their roots. I am strengthening your perseverance. I'm forming your maturity. I'm teaching you to stay, even when your emotions tell you to give up. Don't just look at the difficulty that is before you. Look at that which I am forming within you through it. Because a person transformed by the process carries a strength that is not born only from comfortable moments. It is born of a faith that has learned to abide. My son, maybe you're looking at a phase of your life and thinking that it's delaying your plans. But I tell you, I am using this phase to prepare your soul for something deeper. You think you are just being tested, but I tell you, I'm revealing who you are becoming. I'm already working in the places where you feel the most resistance. I'm already strengthening areas that seemed weak. I'm already showing that what tried to bring you down can also be used to reveal a firmer faith. Maybe you've been waiting for an answer for a long time, and this message has been chosen by me to reveal something profound to you. Stay, my son. I know the tendency of the human heart to go back to the past, trying to find answers. I know how many times you've revisited old moments, trying to understand where it all began, trying to figure out why certain things happened, and imagining what your life would have been like if some choices had been different. But I tell you, you were not created to dwell in places that I have already allowed to be left behind. You think you need to go back to the past to find your peace, but I tell you, your true transformation happens when you allow me to do something new within you. The past can teach you. The past can reveal lessons. The past may show areas that need healing, but the past cannot govern your identity. You think that what happened defined who you are, but I tell you, that was a part of your story, not the whole of it. My son, some people spend so much time looking at the door that is closed that they fail to notice the new road that I am opening before them. They hold on to old pains as if they were proof of who they are. They carry old errors as if they were names written about their lives. But I tell you, I don't see you just for what has happened. I see what I am forming in you. My word says in Isaiah 43:18-19, "Do not remember the former things, nor consider the old things. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it will come forth into the light. Do you not perceive it? My son, I am doing something new, not just around you. Inside you, I'm creating a new perception. I'm renewing your way of thinking. I'm healing the way you see your own story. You think you need to recover who you were before the pain, but I tell you, I am forming someone deeper after it. Because some experiences didn't just come to take something away from you. They came to reveal parts that were hidden. Look at a tree that is passing through pruning. For a while, it looks smaller. She seems to have lost beauty. It seems that something has been taken from her. But pruning is not destruction. Pruning is preparation. The farmer removes what prevents new fruits from being born. So also I work in your life. Some things were taken away because they were impeding its growth. Some cycles ended because I was preparing a new season. Some old versions of you had to die so that a new identity could flourish. My son, do not be afraid of the new that I am forming. You think you've lost parts of your story, but I tell you, I'm using each chapter to build wisdom within you. I'm already touching memories that previously brought only pain. I am already bringing light to thoughts that have been stuck in the past. I'm already showing that you don't have to keep living as someone defined by what you've lost. The pruned tree is not the same as before. It grows in a new way. It produces new fruits. It reveals a strength that was previously hidden. And so it is with you. This message has reached you, and it can reach other children of mine. By subscribing to this channel and liking this video, you help my word reach more hearts. My son, I know the limitations that you carry within yourself. I know those areas where you look at yourself and think you're not capable. I know the thoughts that tell you that you are not prepared enough, that your story is not big enough, or that your weaknesses are greater than what I can do through you. But I tell you, your limitations are not the end of your story. You think that what is lacking in you prevents what I want to accomplish. But I tell you, my strength is revealed precisely in the places where you recognize that you need me. You think you need to be strong all the time, but I tell you, true strength is born when you allow my presence to sustain that which your own hands cannot carry. My child, you often look at your difficulties as barriers, but I see opportunities to reveal my grace. You look at what you can't do. I look at what we can do together. You look at your limited capacity. I look at the purpose I have placed within you. Look at Moses. When I called him to deliver my people, he did not first look at the promise. He looked at his own limitations. He thought about his difficulty speaking. He thought about his insecurities. He thought about the reasons why he wouldn't be able to. But I wasn't looking for someone perfect. I was looking for someone willing to trust. My word says in Exodus 4:12, "Go now, and I will be with your mouth and teach you what you shall speak." My son, I did not promise Moses that he would do everything by himself. I promised that I would be with him, and that promise reaches into your life as well. You think you need to have all the answers before you begin, but I tell you, many answers appear as you walk with me. You think you need to eliminate all insecurities before you can obey, but I tell you, it is through obedience that your confidence grows. The seed does not wait to become a tree to start growing. It starts small, it starts hidden, but within it, there is all that has been placed by me. So it is with you. Don't despise small beginnings. Do not despise what seems little. Don't despise your ability because it seems limited in your eyes. My child, I never depend only on what you have. I work through what you deliver. A weakness placed in my hands becomes a place where my strength can be revealed. An insecurity surrendered to me turns into an opportunity to experience my presence. A limitation acknowledged before me becomes a space where my grace appears. I'm already working in your mind to change the way you see yourself. I'm already touching areas where you felt incapable. I'm already showing that you don't have to walk relying only on yourself. Because when you walk with me, what seemed impossible begins to reveal possibilities that your eyes still can't perceive. My son, I know the times when you looked at your story and felt that the pieces didn't make sense. I know the questions that arose within you when unexpected events arrived, when paths changed, and when what you imagined for your life took a different direction. You look at a few pages and think, how can this be part of something good? But I tell you, that which seems confusing to you remains a story that is in my hands. You see separate chapters, I see the complete work. You see a door closing, I see a direction being adjusted. You see a loss, I see a preparation. My son, a person who reads only one page of a book, may think that the story is meaningless. She doesn't know the beginning, she doesn't know the details, and she doesn't know how everything will be connected in the end. So it is when you look at just a moment of your journey, you see a part. I see everything. You know the now, I know what is being formed through it. My word says in Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for good to those who love God. My child, this does not mean that everything that happens is easy or that all situations are understood immediately. It means that nothing is lost when it is given into my hands. I don't waste experiences. I don't waste tears. I don't waste waiting periods. I use what seemed broken to build something deeper. I use difficult moments to reveal areas that needed healing. I use losses to show you where you are putting your security. I use weights to strengthen a trust that doesn't depend only on circumstances. You think that some situations delayed your life, but I tell you some of them were protecting the future that I was forming. You think that certain wrong paths have destroyed your history, but I tell you, my grace still reaches places where you thought there was no longer any possibility. My son, look at Joseph. If he had only seen the brothers' betrayal, he would have thought that his story had been destroyed. If he had only seen the prison, he would have thought his dream was over. But I was connecting every detail. The grave, Potiphar's house, the prison, the palace. Nothing was out of my reach. What seemed like a sequence of losses was actually a preparation for the purpose. And I am also working like that in your life. You think you've lost control of your story, but I tell you, my hand keeps writing each chapter. I am transforming experiences into wisdom. I'm turning wounds into maturity. I'm turning moments of doubt into roots of faith. Don't let a difficult page make you believe that the book is finished. I'm still working. I'm still driving. I'm still revealing meanings that your eyes can't perceive right now. Few get to this point in the message. My son. But you arrived, and that's no accident. What follows was reserved for those who persevered. My son, I know the times when you have looked at yourself and seen only limitations. I know those thoughts that make you believe that you don't have anything special, that your capabilities are too small, and that what you have to offer will never be enough. But I tell you, you were never created without purpose. You think you must have much to be used by me. But I tell you, I work with that which a willing heart places in my hands. You look at the size of the resource. I look at the disposition of the soul. You look at what is missing. I look at the seed I have already placed within you. My son, you often compare your walk with that of other people. You look at gifts that others have, opportunities that others have been given, and you begin to believe that your life has less value. But I tell you, I don't write the same stories. Each person carries a different seed. Each life has a unique expression of my purpose. You do not need to be someone else to fulfill that which I have placed within you. Look at the widow who came before the prophet Elisha. To human eyes, she had almost nothing. She looked at her house and saw scarcity. She might have believed that there was no hope left, because what she had seemed too small in the face of the need she faced. But I saw something different. She said it 2 Kings 4:2. Your maidservant has nothing in the house but a cruse of oil. My son, what seemed little in her hands became provision when it was placed under my direction. Because I do not depend on quantity to reveal my power, I depend on a willing heart. You think your little makes no difference, but I tell you, a little seed carries within it a great forest. A small attitude of faith can initiate a great transformation. A small decision to obey can change the course of a story. A simple word can touch a weary soul. A gesture of love can reach someone who was losing hope. My son, do not despise what seems small. Often, what you call little is exactly what I have chosen to wear. You think you need to wait for more knowledge, more resources, or more ability to begin. But I tell you, start with that which I have already placed in your hands. David had only one sling when he faced a giant. Moses had only one staff when he walked in front of a great challenge. The widow had only one bottle of oil. But when that which seemed small was surrendered in faith, I revealed something greater. I'm already working inside you. I am already awakening seeds that have been hidden for a long time. I am already showing that your story does not depend only on what you have, but on what you allow me to do through you. My son, don't just look at the size of the seed. Look at the life that I have put into it. My son, I know that desire that exists within you to understand every detail before you take a step. I know your need to know how everything will happen, what the results will be, and what the full path will be before trusting. But I tell you, there are paths that are only revealed after you decide to walk by faith. You think you need to see everything in order to obey, but I tell you, often it is obedience that opens your eyes to what I'm already doing. You think that certainty comes before movement, but I tell you, many times certainty is born while you remain walking with me. My son, Abraham, was given direction, but he didn't get all the details. He didn't know every turn of the way. He didn't know every step of the journey. He didn't have all the answers in his hands. But he had something bigger, a word from me. And one word from me is enough to sustain a willing heart. You think you need to control the whole map of your life, but I tell you, I know paths that your eyes cannot yet see. You see an unfamiliar road. I see a safe direction. You see uncertainties. I see opportunities to strengthen your confidence. My son, the seed planted in the earth, does not understand everything that happens around it. It is hidden, surrounded by darkness, but inside it, there is a life being formed. She doesn't need to understand the whole process to start growing. It just remains connected to the source that sustains its existence. So I also want to teach your soul. Not everything needs to be explained to be trusted. Not everything needs to be revealed before you take the next step. Because if I showed you all the details ahead of time, you might try to carry weights that you are not yet prepared to carry. Sometimes I reveal just enough for the next step, because I want to teach you to depend on my presence and not just on the information you receive. My son, you think that lack of answers means lack of direction, but I tell you, I keep guiding even when you can't see the whole way. I led Abraham, I led Moses through the wilderness. I guided the people of Israel through places that seemed impossible. I continue to guide those who choose to trust. My word says in Proverbs 3:5-6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all your ways and he will direct your paths. My child, do not allow the need to understand everything to prevent you from experiencing that which I am revealing. You think you are walking without seeing, but I tell you, you are walking held by my hand. I'm already working on areas that your mind is still trying to comprehend. I'm already lining up details that look disconnected. I am already preparing meetings, learning and transformations that will be born from this trust. Faith does not ignore reality. Faith only recognizes that there is a reality greater than what the eye can reach. If this message is confirming what you already felt in your heart, write in the comments, "I trust in God's action." My son, I want you to understand something that often your mind cannot accept. The time you called lost was the same time that I used to prepare you. You looked back on the days passing and thought you were falling behind. You looked at other stories happening and wondered why yours seemed to be stopped. But I tell you, you were comparing your process with someone else's chapter. I don't work with copies. I do not lead all lives down the same path. Each seed has its own season. Each tree has its own time to grow. Each fruit needs a certain period to ripen. My son, you wanted the harvest, but I was strengthening the root. You wanted the door open, but I was preparing your steps to walk through it. You wanted to reach the destination, but I was forming within you the person who could stay in it. Because a promise received without preparation can become a burden. A blessing received without maturity can turn into a distraction. So sometimes I allow you to stay in places that you have not chosen, because there are parts of your soul that need to be strengthened before the next season. Look at Joseph. He had a dream, but before the fulfillment there was rejection. Before the palace there was the prison. Before authority there was a period where no one recognized what I had put into them. You think Joseph was forgotten, but I tell you, he was being prepared. Each difficult day was forming your ability to lead. Every injustice was teaching dependence. Each silence was strengthening his confidence. Joseph could have looked only at the circumstances and concluded that his story was over, but I was looking at the purpose. Genesis 50:20 states, "You meant evil against me, but God made it good, to do as it is this day, to keep many people alive." My son, this truth also reaches your journey. You think that what happened to you destroyed your plans, but I tell you, I can still turn broken paths into testimonies. You think that some losses took away something important from your life, but I tell you, some losses made room for what I was forming. You think silence meant absence, but I tell you, many times silence has been the place where I have worked the most. I was treating his anxiety. I was curing his need for control. I was strengthening her faith so that she wouldn't rely solely on quick answers. My son, the wait was not an empty room. It was a workshop where I worked out parts of your soul. It was a school where I taught you to trust. It was a root growing before the fruit appeared. Don't despise the time you spent without understanding. Don't reject the season that seemed slow, because what you have called delay, I have called preparation. And while you were wondering when the change would come, I was already working within your life so that when the moment came, you would be ready to recognize that which I was putting before you. My son, I know that many times you look at your life looking for proof that something has changed. You expect a visible response, an open door, a transformation that everyone can notice. You believe that when something actually happens, it first needs to show up outside. But I tell you, the greatest changes begin in places where human eyes cannot reach. You think that nothing has changed because the circumstances still seem the same. But I tell you, there is a transformation going on within you. You think that you must first receive something new in order to feel hope. But I tell you, before I put something new in your hands, I am strengthening that which exists within your heart. Because a new season doesn't just start with a change around. It starts with a change in the way you see. A new promise requires a new perception. A new journey requires a new identity. My son, many people desire a new reality, but they continue to carry the same old view about themselves. They want to live new chapters, but they still believe in the words that were born from the wounds of the past. But I am working deeply on you. I'm touching places where old pains have built wrong images about who you are. I'm removing thoughts that made you believe you were too small. I am healing marks that have made you forget the value you have always had before me. Look at Jacob. For a long time, he carried a name that represented a story of struggle, deception, and conflict. He lived trying to conquer with his own hands what he believed he needed. But when he found my presence in Peniel, something greater than a blessing happened. He was given a new identity. My word says in Genesis 32:28, "Then he said, 'Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince you wrestled with God and with men, and prevailed.'" My son, I wasn't just changing a name, I was changing the way he saw himself, and that's what I'm doing with you. You think you need only an outer change, but I tell you, I am restoring your inner vision. You think you need to regain that which you have lost, but I tell you, I am revealing that which has never been lost. Because what I have placed within you does not depend on the seasons of life. It doesn't depend on people's opinions. It doesn't depend on the moments that have passed. You are not just what happened to you. You are not just what they have done to you. You are not just what you have lost along the way. You are that which I declared before any circumstance wrote a story about your life. My son, a tree does not change just because its leaves appear. Before that, there is an invisible transformation happening in the roots. So are you. Perhaps people still do not realize all that I'm doing. Maybe you can't even see it completely. But I'm already strengthening your soul. I'm already renewing your thoughts. I'm already forming a new way of walking. Do not despise the silent work that I am doing within you, because what begins in the invisible, at the right time, reveals fruits that everyone will be able to perceive. My son, I know there are times when you have looked at certain areas of your life and thought that all was lost. You saw that which was broken, that which disappeared, and that which did not turn out as you expected. And your heart began to believe that history was over. But I tell you, what you have lost in your eyes does not represent all that I have preserved in the invisible. You think that the enemy has managed to destroy everything. But I tell you, there are parts of your life that have remained guarded by my hands. You think the battle has reached its core. But I tell you, that which I seal with my presence, no one can erase. My son, some things may be touched by circumstances, but there are treasures within you that do not depend on circumstances to exist. Your faith, your hope, your ability to start over, your identity in me. The world may try to take away many external things, but that which has been born of my presence remains. Look at Job. He lost assets. He lost recognition. He faced pain that seemed impossible to bear. He went through a moment when he could believe that it was all over. But I was looking at something that nobody could see. While the losses happened around him, his essence remained guarded. His faith was still alive. His confidence still existed. Your story was still in my hands. My word says in Job 42:1-10, "And the Lord turned Job's captivity when he prayed for his friends. And the Lord added to Job as much double as all that he had before." My son, I did not allow pain to have the final word. I didn't allow that moment to define Job's entire future, and I also don't allow a difficult phase to be greater than the purpose I put on your life. You think that loss was the end, but I tell you, some losses reveal that which really remains. You think you have lost everything, but I tell you there is still a living seed within you. You think you are trying to rebuild only what has been broken, but I tell you, I am building something deeper than what existed before. Because I don't just restore things, I restore people. I don't just give circumstances back, I transform hearts. I don't just rebuild paths, I strengthen souls. My son, maybe you looked at an area of your life and thought it would never be the same again. But I tell you, I am not limited by what has happened. I work with what seems impossible. I give birth to life in places where you can only see ruins. A tree after a storm may seem destroyed, but its roots continue to hold its life underground. And when the right season arrives, new shoots appear. So are you. I'm already strengthening parts that you thought were dead. I'm already renewing your ability to believe. I'm already preparing a new beginning in places where you thought there were only endings. Do not allow that which has been lost to make you forget that which has remained. Because that which remains in my hands carries a force that no storm can destroy. In the next few minutes, my son, I will show you something that can be a direct sign from me for your life. Don't leave now, my son. I know this pain that you often cannot explain. The pain of doing the best you can and still feeling that no one notices. The pain of remaining faithful while others receive recognition. The pain of looking around and wondering if anyone really sees what exists inside you. But I tell you, before anyone recognizes your walk, I already knew every detail of it. You think you need to be seen by men to be of value, but I tell you, my gaze on you is greater than any applause you can receive. You think that people's silence means unimportant, but I tell you, often silence is the place where I prepare that which will be revealed at the right time. My son, look at David. When Samuel came to Jesse's house, looking for the one who would be anointed king, everyone thought of the children who were before human eyes. David's brothers had appearance, position, and presence before the prophet. But David was in the field. He was tending the sheep. He was away from the eyes. He was in a place where no one imagined finding a future king. But I was looking at him. While the men saw only a young man in the field, I saw a prepared heart. While people looked at the appearance, I looked at the essence. My word says in verse Samuel 16:12, "Arise, anoint him, for this one is." My son, I didn't choose David because he was the most admired. I chose because I knew his heart, and I want you to understand something, that the place where nobody notices you doesn't mean I'm not working on you. You think you are forgotten because no one recognizes your efforts, but I tell you, I see every moment when you stood firm when it would be easier to give up. I see the tears you hid. I see the battles you have faced in silence. I see the right choices that no one applauded. I see the faithfulness that did not appear before the crowds. My son, do not surrender your peace by trying to convince people who cannot see what I have already established. Do not allow the absence of recognition to make you doubt what I have placed inside you. A seed does not cease to have potential because it is hidden underground. A root does not stop growing because no one can see it. There is a work going on in secret. There is a formation happening away from human eyes. You think you need a platform to have purpose, but I tell you, purpose begins in the heart before it appears in the hands. You think you need to be celebrated to know you're on the right path, but I tell you, my approval is enough to sustain your steps. Continue to take care of what I have placed before you. Keep being faithful in the little things. Continue to allow me to form your soul in the secret. Because that which is built away from the eyes of men possesses a strength that remains when the eyes finally arrive. My son, I know there are times when you look back and you miss who you were before certain pains came. You remember times when your soul seemed lighter, when some worries were not yet part of your journey, and you think that the solution would be to go back to that time. But I tell you, I'm not taking you back. I'm leading you into something deeper. You think you need to recover the person you were before the pain, but I tell you, I am forming a stronger person through what you have experienced, because I don't waste experiences. I don't waste tears. I don't waste processes. Each season has left marks, but it has also left learnings that are forming a new vision within you. My son, the butterfly does not return to the cocoon after discovering its wings. It does not look back, wishing to remain in the place where it was formed. The cocoon was part of his history, but it was not his destiny. So it is with you. There are phases that were important, but that were not made to be permanent. You think you've lost something when a level has ended, but I tell you, some seasons need to end so that new parts of you can be born. The tree does not try to go back to the seed. She does not consider growth a loss. It understands that it was created to advance, deepen roots, and produce fruits. My son, I am also leading you to a growth, which you may not yet be able to fully understand. You think that restoration means going back to exactly what it was before, but I tell you, my restoration is greater than a simple return. I don't just want to give back what happened. I want to reveal what I was forming through what you went through. My word says in 2 Corinthians 5:17, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new." My son, when I do something new, I don't erase your history. I transform the meaning of it. Scars are not proof of defeat. They can become reminders that you went through what you thought you couldn't bear. I transform thoughts that were once dominated by fear. I renew emotions that have been fatigued by the battles. I strengthen a faith that once depended only on what the eyes could see. You think that pain has stolen your identity, but I tell you, I have used pain to reveal parts of you that were hidden. You think you have become weaker, but I tell you, there are areas where you have become deeper. You think you have lost your old self, but I tell you, you have not lost that which needed to remain. I'm removing weights, healing wounds, and building a new perception of who you are. My child, do not try to carry again that which I am already transforming. Don't go back to old thoughts just because they're known. Don't embrace old limitations just because they were part of your history. I'm already touching your mind. I'm already restoring your sight. I am already forming within you an identity that does not depend on the past, opinions, or circumstances. The new creation begins when you understand that you don't have to be a prisoner of what was left behind. I am forming you to walk in a new consciousness, with a new strength, and with a new understanding of what I have placed within your soul. My son, I know how many times you have looked at the promise and asked when it would come. I know how many times you have felt that time was passing and that what I have placed in your heart seemed too far away. You counted the days, you observed the doors, you waited for signs, and in many moments he thought that the delay meant forgetfulness. But I tell you, waiting has never been the absence of my hand. You think I was delaying what you asked for, but I tell you, I was preparing you to receive without losing, because not every person is ready to carry what they want. Not every open door will be a blessing if the heart is not yet prepared to walk through it. My son, a big gift in the wrong hands can turn into a burden. Therefore, before delivery there is training. Before the fruit, there is root. Before the harvest, there is a season of care. You wanted the promise, but I was working on the character. You wanted the answer, but I was strengthening your faith. You wanted to reach the destination, but I was forming the person who could stay in it. Look at David. I anointed David as king, but he did not sit on the throne on the same day. The promise was delivered first, but the preparation came before the fulfillment. He faced lions on the field. He faced giants before a nation. He faced deserts where he had to rely on me when no one else believed in him. To human eyes, it seemed that David was far from the promise. But in my eyes, each battle was building up to what he would need to carry. The field has prepared its hands. The wilderness strengthened his soul. The struggles taught her dependence. Silence formed his leadership. My son, you think that some difficulties were obstacles in the way, but I tell you, many of them were tools that I used to prepare you. You think you were just surviving, but I tell you, you were being strengthened. You think you have wasted time in some phases, but I tell you, each season was building foundations within you. My word says in Psalm 37:23, "The steps of a good man are established by the Lord, and he delights in his way." My son, I know every step of your walk. I know the paths you didn't understand. I know the doors that seemed late. I know the processes that seemed too long. Nothing was wasted. Each experience revealed something. Each battle showed an area that needed to grow. Each difficulty deepened a part of his soul. You weren't just expecting a promise. You were becoming someone capable of carrying it. Because I don't want to just put something in your hands. I want to prepare your heart so that it remains. I'm not just interested in what you get. I'm interested in who you become as you receive. The seed needs time before it appears as a tree. The root needs to grow before the fruits can sustain a new season, and so it is with you. I'm already working in the places that no one sees. I'm already strengthening what will be needed for the next chapter. I am already preparing your soul to recognize the blessing when it comes. At the end of this message, you will feel my presence in a way that you may never have felt before. Stay with me until the end. My son, I know the weight you feel when you believe that everything depends only on your own strength. I know the times when your mind tries to calculate every possibility, predict every difficulty, and find a solution to every problem before it even happens. You tried to carry tomorrow with today's hands, but I tell you, you have never been called to carry alone that which belongs to me. You think you need to open all paths, but I tell you, before your steps reach certain places, my hand has already been preparing what you will find. You think you are walking towards the unknown, but I tell you, no place is unknown to me. I know the road before your feet walk on it. I know the doors before your eyes find them. I know the answers before your questions are formed. My son, you often struggle with situations that I never asked you to carry. You try to overcome with anxiety what needs to be delivered with confidence. You try to control what needs to be put in my hands. You try to open doors using your own strength when I am teaching you to trust in my direction. Look at the people of Israel before the sea. They were faced with a situation that seemed impossible. Behind them was an enemy approaching. In front of them were waters that they could not cross. In human eyes, there was no way out, but I was already preparing the way before they could see it. They didn't open the sea. They just obeyed my leading. My word says in Exodus 14:14, "The Lord will fight for you, and you will hold your peace." My son, there is a battle that you do not have to win with despair. There is a door that you don't have to push in fear. There is a way that will not be found by the force of anxiety, but by trust in my presence. You think that if you stop fighting, you will lose everything, but I tell you, sometimes stopping fighting is the first step to allowing me to work. You think you need to have all the answers, but I tell you, you just need to stay close to me. Because when you are close to my presence, your vision changes. You stop seeing only obstacles and start perceiving possibilities. You stop looking only at the size of the problem and start remembering the size of the one who takes care of you. My son, a child holds his father's hand without knowing the whole way. She doesn't need to know every bend in the road. She just trusts the one who is leading. So I also want to teach your soul, not because you ignore challenges, but because you recognize that you're not facing any of them alone. I'm already working before your arrival. I'm already preparing meetings. I'm already aligning circumstances. I'm already empowering you to walk through places that once seemed impossible. Don't allow fear to make you forget that there is an invisible hand guiding your steps. The path that you do not yet know is already known to me. The door you have not yet found is already before my eyes. The battle that seems too big for you has never been too big for me. If this video came at the right time for you, write in the comments, "I believe, Lord," and declare that you are ready for this new phase. My son, I know that there are times when pain seems to have told the last word about your life. I know there are nights when you looked at your walk and thought you couldn't keep going. There are times when fatigue has tried to convince your soul that it was no longer worth waiting for. But I tell you, don't make a permanent decision based on a phase that is still being transformed. You think you have come to an end, but I tell you, many times when you believe that a story has ended, I am preparing the next revelation. You think the wound was the end of your walk, but I tell you the purpose was hidden behind it. My son, there are things that you can only understand after you go through the process. There are answers that do not arrive before transformation, because your soul still needs to be prepared to see what I'm doing. You look at the wound and see only pain. I look at the same wound and see a place where restoration is beginning. You look at the weight and see delay. I look at the weight and I see preparation. You look at the silence and think that I have walked away. I look at the silence and see a moment when I'm deepening your faith. Look at the cross. Those who were facing that moment saw only loss. They saw suffering. They saw a seemingly interrupted promise. But I was accomplishing something that surpassed human understanding. What seemed like defeat carried redemption. What seemed like an end carried a new beginning. My word says in Luke 24:26, "Was it not fitting that the Christ should suffer these things and enter into his glory?" My son, not everything that looks like defeat is defeat. Not everything that looks like closure means it's over. Not every tear shed represents a shattered story. I transform places of pain into places of witness. I turn scars into reminders of my faithfulness. I turn broken paths into roads where other people will also find hope. And I want to speak especially to you who are tired. You are the one who is thinking of giving up. You who feel like you've waited too long. You who believe that nothing else will change. My son, I tell you, do not abandon the nearest station of transformation. Often, the darkest night precedes the strongest dawn. The root grows long hidden before the fruit appears. The seed remains underground before breaking through the surface. So it is with that which I am forming in your life. You think that delay means that nothing is happening, but I tell you, there are movements in the invisible that you cannot yet perceive. I'm already touching areas that were tired. I'm already strengthening parts of your soul that have almost given up. I'm already preparing you to recognize what you would not have been mature enough to receive before. The wait was long because the transformation was profound. The process was intense because what I am forming has value. My son, do not let go now of what you have given to me in prayer. Do not allow the last moments of waiting to make you forget all the moments in which I have sustained you so far. It's closer than you think. The story you thought would end in pain still carries chapters that will reveal my hand, guiding every detail. My child, I want you to notice something that may have gone unnoticed in your eyes. You keep looking at what hasn't arrived yet, waiting for a big change to happen, waiting for a door to open, waiting for an answer to appear. But I tell you, while you were waiting for what was outside, I was already transforming what was inside. You think you are still in the same place, but I tell you, you are no longer the same person who started this journey. You think that nothing has happened because the circumstances have not yet changed completely. But I tell you, the greatest change has started in the most important place, within your soul. I have already strengthened your faith. I've already increased your stamina. I've already opened your eyes to things you couldn't see before. I have already brought maturity to thoughts that were previously dominated by fear. I've already healed parts of you that you didn't even realize were being restored. My son, you expected a transformation around you, but I was accomplishing a transformation in you. Because before I deliver a new station, I prepare a new heart to live in it. Before I put something new in your hands, I teach you to see with a new vision. Before changing your scenery, I strengthen your identity. You think your story is defined by the mistakes you have made, but I tell you, you are not the end product of your falls. You think your faults have written your name, but I tell you, I call you by name, not by your wounds. You think that what has happened to you determines who you are, but I tell you, my voice is greater than any accusation that has tried to bind your soul. My child, you belong to me. Before anyone knew his story, I already knew his essence. Before anyone pointed out your limitations, I had already seen the purpose I had placed within you. Before you understood your own worth, I had already declared that your life had meaning. Look at Peter. He bore the mark of a great failure. He denied Jesus in a moment of fear. He could have allowed that mistake to define all of his next days. But I didn't look at Peter just for the fall. I looked at what I was forming in him. He who once denied then rose up to strengthen others. He who once wept over his weakness then became a witness of my grace. My son, I do this because my view of you is different from the human view. Men can remember their past. I see your purpose. People can point out their flaws. I see your restoration. The world may try to put labels on you, but I have already declared who you are. You are my child. You are loved. You are called. You are someone who is being formed by my hands. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. This strength is not born from the absence of difficulties. It is born from the certainty that you have never walked alone. The invisible has already borne fruit within you. Its roots are deeper. Your vision is more mature. Your confidence is firmer. You are not just waiting for a "my" to act. You are already experiencing the first signs of what I started when no one else could see. My son, I thank you for staying with me till the end of this message. I know that your life has battles that many people have never known, but I know every tear, every prayer, and every moment you have chosen to keep going, even when you thought about giving up. Today, I declare over you that there is a blessing for those who persevere to the end, because a heart that remains open to my voice receives profound transformation. My son, do not forget everything you have learned on this journey. I showed you that delay was not abandonment, and that silence was not absence, and that waiting was not wasted time. I was working in places his eyes couldn't reach. I was strengthening your soul, restoring your identity, and paving paths that you could not yet see. You didn't get here by chance. There is a purpose in every word that touched your heart. There is a reason why you heard this message to the end. I want you to remember, you belong to me. You are loved by me, and your history continues to be written by my hands. My son, if this word spoke to you, write in the comments. I watched until the end, and also put the city where you are watching. I want to see people from different places, united by faith, and the certainty that my presence reaches every heart. I also want to ask you to like this video, share this message with someone who needs to hear a word of hope, and subscribe to this channel to continue receiving messages that shall strengthen your walk with me. When you share a word of faith, you become an instrument to bring light to another child who needs hope. Remember all that I have revealed today. Do not allow a difficult phase to make you forget who I am. Do not allow a closed door to make you doubt my care. Do not allow the past to speak louder than the identity I have placed within you. I continue to guide your steps. I continue to take care of your story. I continue to work on the invisible. The seed that I planted in you still carries life. The roots that I strengthen are still growing. The purpose that I have placed within you is still being revealed. Allow God to continue speaking to your heart. Take the next step in this journey by watching the next video that will appear here on the screen. In it, we will continue to learn how to live in God's presence and experience the fullness of His plans. Don't stop here, because God still has much more to speak to you. Always remember, God is greater, and His presence is our strength. Trust Him, and He will do infinitely more than you can imagine. May God bless your life, and see you in the next video.